Hey, Matt.
Couldn't find headphones.
That's fine. You sound fine. It's
okay, cool.
Yeah, it's great. Where are you at? Are you guys in Florida?
Yes. Yeah, we're kind of quarantining here in Florida.
Right on. That's cool. Real quick, is one of you a swimmer? Like, how did you get the name Flipturn?
Go for it, man.
Oh, you're a swimmer, really?
Yeah. So I was a swimmer from whenever I was basically in kindergarten until I graduated high school. So
wow,
definitely a big swimmer. So we got our name from
the Flipturn. Yeah, I swam too. I played water polo and swam in high school. So I saw the name. I'm like, this has got to be somebody has to be a swimmer here.
Right. Usually, yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Nothing. I was just like usually it's other swimmers that are the ones that ask that question. Like we've gotten DMs and like people have come up to us at shows and been like, "Oh, you must like one of you or all of you must be swimmers." But like most of the time, people like actually don't know what it means unless they like swam or something like that. Yeah.
How funny. That's awesome. So did you guys all grow up in Florida?
All of us are from Florida except for Dillon.
Okay.
He moved here in high school.
I moved from Boston, Massachusetts when I was like 15. I moved down. Wow. Yeah, so I spent a lot of time up there. And then I moved down, went to high school in Fernandina Beach, and that's where I met everybody else.
Wow.
When I was pretty young, my parents got divorced, and then it was when my mom remarried. The guy that my stepdad had like a place down in Fernandina, and it was like, we can either, live here in Massachusetts or we could try something new. And my whole family was just like, you know what, like, screw it. Let's just try something new.
Cool.
So ended up in Fernandina Beach, Florida.
Well, it kind of worked out. Now you met these guys and you're
in
the band now, so that's kind of cool.
pretty cool.
Right on. Adrian, how did you get into music originally?
Originally back in like middle school and high school, playing in like the school bands and whatnot. And then in high school, me and Tristan were in marching band together. And actually Madeline played in band in middle school as well. I've been doing drums since the beginning.
Oh, wow. So you're always a drummer?
Yeah.
Why did you choose drums? What got you into drum?
Honestly, Guitar Hero. I played like Guitar Hero and I was like, this is really fun. And I picked up guitar at first, but then I don't know, I've just always been better with drums, so I just stuck with that.
That's funny. I remember playing guitar, the Rock Band original one, the first one with the drum kit. It was like game changer. Like who cares about Guitar Hero? I can play the drums on this other video game. So you're in the band too, Madeline? What did you play in the band?
Yeah, I was an alto saxophone player. So did that in like elementary school some, and then through middle school. And I was also very big into rock or like Guitar Hero and Rock Band. I have like this picture of like me when I was little, like shredding on the Guitar Hero guitar, and like
that's awesome.
It's pretty funny. So for sure that had a big influence on me too. But then I picked up the bass in like late middle school, I think like 8th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. And just kind of playing then and then play now.
Yeah. What drew you to the bass guitar?
I don't know. Like I was like heavily inspired by the bassist for the band Silver Sun Pickups.
Oh yeah,
Nikki. Yeah, I saw them in concert like when I was pretty young, and just like I was like, she's so cool. And then really, I would like peg it to her to inspire me to play the bass. But yeah,
that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Dillon? How'd you get into music?
So I got into music pretty young. My mom is a Irish fiddle player, and since we were from Massachusetts, she used to go around these like play these sessions around Boston. Sorry, my voice keeps cracking. Sorry.
It's
Around Boston, and she'd bring me to these Irish sessions, and everybody would be playing around this table at the pub and stuff like that. And so I kind of grew up around that. First instrument I played was like this little Irish drum, and that's where I got some rhythm. And then when I was in 5th grade, around the time my parents got divorced, somebody gave my mom a gift, like a guitar as a gift, just because, like, to distract her. And me and her kind of taught each other how to play, and then I've just kind of been playing and writing music ever since, really. So,
wow.
Yeah.
What age were you when you got that guitar?
I was 11.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
Cool.
still up there.
That's awesome. Well, and then from there, you started writing songs, you said? Like, after you kind of learned how to play, were you writing songs that young, like 11? 12?
Yeah, I mean, I started writing right when I started playing guitar. Never really had like any lessons other than just like YouTube and stuff like that, and like looking up how to play like chords. And from that, I just started, writing lyrics to it, and trying to create stuff. And I've been writing music ever since. So
wow,
yeah,
that's really cool. So, Adrian? How did you meet Madeline? Was that through the band? The school band?
Did we meet before middle school?
Yeah, we've known each other since like 4th grade.
Yeah. Wow.
Our guitarist,
so you went to elementary school together and everything.
Yeah, our guitarist Tristan too. We've known him since 4th grade, 5th grade.
Were you friends in middle school and stuff?
Yeah.
Or it wasn't until later? Oh wow.
For sure, like through the band. Yeah. In classes and stuff.
Yeah. And then how did the band form? Were you guys in other bands besides the school band prior to Flipturn?
No.
Church band.
Good church band. In the church band. Tell me about that, Dillon. Was that the first time you played in front of people?
Well, no, that wasn't me. I wasn't in the church band. I just know that you guys were in the church band. You guys, that's how you started. Tell them don't hide that. That is awesome.
Yeah, a lot of people have been in the church band.
Yeah, that's when we got like our start, like playing in like a band type setting and stuff was in our youth group.
I think it helped a lot with, like, I don't know, playing in front of people, even though the music wasn't our choice, really.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard numerous artists that I've interviewed before, and a lot of people have said that it's either a talent show, or they're in the school, or they're either a talent show, or they're in a church band. It's like always most of the time the answer. So don't be embarrassed by it. What about you, Dillon? When was the first time you played with people and played in front of people?
I mean, I've been playing in front of people. My mom would force me to play in front of people when I was really little. Like at some of her shows, like I'd play a song or two. Like I'd come up on stage at some of her shows and play something. But then when we moved down to Florida is actually when I really started playing in front of more people. My mom and I would play gigs around Fernandina, the island that we live on, like different bars and stuff like that. And like in Florida, it's a different rule. Like I know in some states you can't play at a bar until you're like 21 or 18 or something like that. But in Florida, they didn't, or at least in Fernandina, they didn't really care. So it was just me and my mom playing like 4-hour gigs around, every weekend. That's actually how I made like money throughout high school and stuff like that. So it was just playing bar gigs around.
What were you guys playing? Just the Irish music?
So I mean, a lot of folk music, Irish music, huge, a lot of Irish music for sure. She's that's a big influence. But folk music, Irish music, contemporary stuff. I mean, pretty much everything. Really. I mean, like your typical like cover gigs sometimes, and then I throw some originals in there once in a while. But that's pretty much where I got some stage presence from. But
wow,
yeah.
Were you playing guitar and singing, and your mom was playing the fiddle?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of songs, like contemporary songs, would you play that would combine the two instruments? I'm just curious.
What?
John Mayer.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say big John Mayer guy growing up. Madeline actually took me to my first John Mayer concert. Remember? Yeah, we went
Tell
to
me about that.
and that was before we were like in a band together. Like we were just like friends in high school, and Madeline and like two other of her friends, girls, I should say, like we're like, oh, we're going to see John Mayer, and like they knew that I was like John Mayer, and they were like, yeah, you want to come? And I was like, yeah, sure, like of course I want to come. You know, it was just me and like these three other girls. We went to see the show. It was amazing, life changing for sure. But yeah, I mean, we play some John Mayer covers. Well, I don't know.
I remember you playing like Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, we do some of those like contemporary stuff. We do
cool.
a weird version of or like a unique version of Seven Nation Army by Jack White. We've
White
like
Stripes.
kind of like we turned it into this like cowboy version of it rather than this like heavy rock anthem that it is. We've done stuff like that. Kind of just put our own little twist on songs, I guess. But yeah,
that's cool.
Cool.
Do you still jam with your mom?
Yeah, no, we still jam. But when I like now I'm in Gainesville right now. I'm not actually home. I went to go. I'm seeing my girlfriend right now actually.
Okay.
But at like when I'm gone and when I'm on the road, like she's trying to teach my little brother how to play guitar so that since he's still at home, he can like play with her.
Another artist to play with.
Yeah, she keeps telling him like you gotta step up. Like I need somebody to play with, since your brother's gone all the time, and since we're always on the road or whatever. But
that's funny. That's really cool. So tell me about how Flipturn all started.
Let's see. So it was in, I think like junior year, senior year of high school, like 2015, 2016. And Tristan and I, like met for coffee one day and we're like, let's start a band. Let's just do it. Cause it was something that we've always like, had dreams or whatever of doing. And so we like called Dillon and Tristan wasn't super close with Dillon at the time, but I was pretty good friends with Dillon, and I was like, hey,
Starbucks.
Come to Starbucks or something. And then he was like, okay. And we're like, so do you want to be in a band? And you were down for it. And then we're like, yeah, play drums. Like Adrian's a cool drummer, and so we just kind of like came together that way, and so we would jam together and stuff, and learn covers and stuff to kind of like practice playing together and everything. And just kind of stuck. It really became real when we were like, we need to think of names, like what are we gonna call ourselves. Like, there was a while where we were just kind of like jamming and stuff, but
just hanging out and jamming.
When did you guys play your first show? Like what was the first show you guys did?
Like legit show or like
we did a lot. We did a couple shows like around our hometown, which is like 45 minutes outside of Jacksonville. That's like the closest big city to us. And so we stayed in our hometown and did like a couple 3-hour gigs where it's just like covers. And we would throw in a couple of originals in there, like our family and stuff would come. So it was fun. But our first legit show, like at a venue, was in June 2016, which was like 5. Like we started like officially as a band like in December 2015. So 6 months after we were kind of official as a band. But yeah, it was in Gainesville at the High Dive.
Wow. Well, you guys were doing 3-hour sets prior to that? That's crazy.
I mean, it's the only kind of gig you can get if you're starting off and you're like pretty young. Most people around town are like, or most like legit venues are like, I don't know, like unless you have like some experience playing. So that was really the only kind of gigs.
It got us good practice, like endurance, like for playing shows. And
I was gonna say that must have been rough on you, Adrian.
Yeah, and playing outside.
It was bad.
3 hours
outside. So.
And all of us are like sweating. Like it's not a fun.
Oh yeah, like outdoors. These are outdoor gigs too. Yeah.
Oh,
like posh venues or.
Yeah.
You're playing drums and it's probably humid. You're probably drenched.
Sure.
Yeah, I wore black a lot. Awesome.
Black, it doesn't matter what you feel, as long as you look cool.
So when did this become like a real thing? Like, did you guys go to college and then like continue doing the band, or was it like we're actually really good at this, let's go run with it?
We started like writing music, I'd say, when we were right when we officially started, how Madeline said, but we didn't record anything until like that summer, right? Like around the time we had our first show.
Wasn't out, I don't think, for that.
Heavy Colors came out in 2017, and this is like 2016 is when we started really like writing some music, and we hadn't planned on pursuing the band like fully like after we graduated, because we pretty much had started the band like our senior year. So like Madeline, Adrian, and then they went to Gainesville, and me and Tristan went to our schools in Jacksonville, and so we'd like meet up once in a while and play, and then play some shows, and we would get them. But once we kind of started to realize that like the songs that we were writing like were being pretty well received by people, and as we started to gain kind of like a small following and some traction, about like our junior year, so like after we had released 2 EPs, is kind of when we took a step back and we're like, I think we should really full-time pursue this.
Okay. Your junior year of college?
Yeah, our junior year of college. Some of us dropped out of school completely. Me and Madeline are switched to online, and then we all moved back home so that we could practice like as much as possible and write as much as possible, and tour. It was actually mostly so that we could tour, because we had really only played in Florida, and we're like, we got to get out of Florida. So started playing some shows up the East Coast and stuff like that. And yeah, since then, I think is when we've been taking it like as our full time.
Wow.
Like,
yeah, like
career. Yeah.
Our sophomore year was very much having to drive home a lot, which is like 2 hours away. We live like 2 hours away from Gainesville, and then our junior year, that's when we decided to like Dillon, you moved to Gainesville, and that's when we started doing like school online, was our junior year, so we could tour. But yeah.
Wow. How far is Gainesville from Jacksonville? Is that kind of drive? Because that's
we're like 2 hours, like 2 hours away.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Jacksonville's fairly close to where you guys grew up, and then
2
hours away. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about so you guys had Heavy Colors out already when you started playing shows in college and stuff?
Right.
No, well, kind of. I mean, around the same time. I mean, we would play a lot of songs off of Heavy Colors before it actually came out.
Okay.
We recorded it in a studio in Jacksonville, and really the EP is like all the songs that we just kind of had finished at the time, because we were so eager to like put out an EP, because we were excited to have like all these songs ready and stuff. So really that's what that EP is. It's like our first couple like solid songs that we had ready to put out. And yeah, recorded in Jacksonville, and that did we record it over the summer, or were we? I don't remember.
I can't remember exactly. I do know though it was a huge like learning curve. Each time we've recorded has been like a big like learning experience. Each time we get a little bit more comfortable. But I remember that first like EP that we wrote, we had never recorded anything before. Like we went in and we're like, all right, let's try to do this. And the guy we were working with, we had to learn how to deal with like a producer or like a mix, somebody that was like going to record our songs. We had to learn how to work with other people, like with our songs. And so it was interesting for sure. It was a interesting experience, but I mean this, it it worked out well, I'd say.
What was what was the most difficult part of that first? Was it just intimidating being in there, or was it a bit of everything? Was it?
I'd say a little bit intimidating. Yeah.
It's like playing, a lot of us, like, we hadn't played to a click track and stuff before.
Yeah.
I think just in general, like, as a band, we're very much, like...
We're very, very young. Like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And... Yeah, because I think we're very feel-based. And so that was weird, playing to a click for the first time, like, in recording, and, like, the pressure of that, and wanting to do everything right. But, like, now we know, like, it's okay to screw up. It's okay to do multiple takes, like, if you need to.
Yeah.
There are lots of learning curves, for sure.
Yeah. Well, some of those songs off that EP, I mean, have millions of plays on Spotify.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it probably
happen?
turned out...
Like, that's crazy. You just recorded, like, it wasn't like a label came to you and were like, we're gonna pay for this recording, we're gonna set you up with this producer.
No.
And, I mean, you guys sounds like you did it on your own, and wow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
all the money we've made still today, I mean, all the money we make, like, as a band, like whether it's like from merchandise, from shows, from whatever, it always goes into one big pot. And so that's how we've been able to keep doing this, and that's how we paid for the first EP. It was, we were like, had played enough shows, made enough money, and we're like, let's record something, let's get a project out there. And it's been the same thing ever since, and it's allowed us to, grow steadily, so that's how we were able to do that.
Wow. So that's all just organically. I mean, you didn't get like playlisted on Spotify or anything like that. Wow.
We have never been on a playlist ever.
That's crazy.
Spotify, if you're listening.
Spotify.
Yeah.
Hello?
I know. Yeah, Spotify is listening. Yeah, throw us on one of your playlists. But
it doesn't look like much help.
I mean, things, people. That's all organic. Like, that is all organic. So I mean, it's
crazy.
It's
crazy.
It's awesome, but we're still like, doesn't change the fact we're still trying to, like, get on a playlist, obviously, because, like, playlists can change people's, like, lives sometimes. It's crazy.
Right.
But,
yeah, but I mean, sometimes you'll get playlisted and you'll get 1 million plays. You are past 2 million plays on songs. Like, that's crazy. That's so awesome. Yeah. So then the second thing you guys put out, is it Citrona?
Oh, you're there. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about that. What's that? Where'd you get that name? I tried to look it up. I couldn't figure out what it meant.
Man. This is great. Yeah, this is great.
Are you? Oh, do you want me to?
I thought you were. Well, you were the one that came up with the. You were the one that, like, texted us one day. I was like, "What do you think about this?"
Okay, so true. So, yeah, we kind of, for that EP, it was very much like, about us growing up and stuff, and, like, in Fernandina and everything. And so Citrona is the name of a street in our hometown, Citrona Drive. Yeah, and the road connects, like, our high school is on it, our middle school is on it, even though Dillon didn't go to our middle school, but still, high school and middle school is on it. And it also, like, connects, we're, like, all sort of,
we all live kind of off Citrona. Yeah.
Like,
oh wow, so it's kind of like a main road
street.
Yeah.
And then, so the two songs on the album, Fletcher and Jasmine, the two, like, instrumental ones, are also street names that are connected from Citrona.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny when, like, people from out of town, like, that know us, when we bring them, like, home, like, bring them into Fernandina, and they like see the sign, they're like, oh, like a huge, oh my god, like, oh shit moment, and they're like, it just clicked. Like our manager Sam, who was just on here, first time he came to Fernandina, he was like, like there it is, like like. So,
it all makes sense now.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, tell me about recording that. Had you guys toured and stuff on your first release, or was like
mostly just
after you
Florida.
put out Heavy Colors, were you just playing Florida?
Mm-hmm.
And
pretty
then
much.
with Citrona, still playing Florida, or did you tour at that point?
We did a tour after Citrona came out. That was like our
first
tour, like leaving Florida. We went to like Brooklyn and Philadelphia, but we didn't go west at all. We just went up to East Coast. It was an East Coast tour, like a short one. And it was really fun. It was just like a really awesome experience. That first one was pretty cool.
We took Madeline's her mom's SUV, attached a big old trailer to the back of it.
It was rough.
Pain in the ass. Yeah, it was rough. It was a learning. That's another learning curve. Was few tours with that thing.
I hate trailers, so try to avoid them. But
was that the first time you guys had ever driven with a trailer attached to like a car?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've attempted a few times. It's quite a nightmare. Like trying not to jackknife it and stuff.
Trying to park in like Philadelphia and Brooklyn and Boston.
I was going to ask about that.
Oh,
how did you even park in New York?
I mean, we did it. Well, I mean, we did it, but like
for like 30 minutes. But yeah, it was
nightmare.
So you did you guys just do that tour on your own? Like, how did you put it together?
Mm-hmm. Our manager at the time, she put it together, and it's all
out
for DIY for sure.
And how did you meet that first manager?
So at UF, at the University of Florida, I was part of a student-run organization called Swamp Records.
Oh,
and
cool.
It's not like a legit record label. Like they don't produce records or anything, but it's all students, and they all like help promote their flagship artists and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like PR, like graphic design, everything, and management. And so I was in the club, and then later one of their flagship artists was leaving Florida, and so I was like putting feelers out there. I'm like, maybe can my band be the flagship artist? And they said it was like a weird conflict of interest thing. And then I was like, I'll quit the club, I don't care. And they're like,
or something.
Yeah. So they're like, okay. And I was like, cool. So then we became a flagship artist for Swamp Records. And Tally Ursel, who was our manager, so she was like a really good friend of ours, and also like our manager and everything.
Wow.
And that's how we met our like now manager too, Sam. He was on our team at Swamp Records, and he's graduated and everything, but now like this is like what he wants to do and everything, so he's our manager now. So cool.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So did Swamp Records, did you put that on your like CDs and stuff, like, or was it just kind of like its own entity that just kind of helped
like a students helping students kind of thing? It wasn't like a legitimate label, so we weren't like technically signed. It was more just like we like will give them experience, like if and they'll
resumes and everything, and to get like their foot in the door, music industry and everything. And they would help us and stuff too. So it's a really cool, like symbiotic, like relationship and everything.
Yeah, I've never heard of something like that like in a college. That's so awesome.
Mm-hmm. And that's what got us like really like having a good group and everything in the Gainesville music scene and everything.
Yeah.
Like lots of friends, like in other bands and everything,
Mm-hmm.
that we like met through Swamp Records.
Oh, so you're able to network that way.
For sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. And then from that record, did you just do that one tour? Have you done tours with like supporting bigger artists and stuff?
Well, we did once. We did last
summer.
Last spring in like April.
July. May. No, because we went on a tour. Like let me straight up. Last spring. No, this is what happened. I'm serious. Remember Ocean? We went on like 3 tours last year. Spring, summer, and fall.
Yeah.
And we went on like the summer is the one where we were supported.
You're right.
Think about it. Yeah.
Right.
but the spring and the fall, I mean, and the one we supported was a band called Repeat. They were a band that like what ended up going on tour with like the Black Keys and stuff like that. They were cool. Yeah.
And then those other 2 tours are still like DIY, do it yourself.
Yep.
You guys.
Pretty much.
With Caleb, right?
The
third one.
Fall one? Yeah, fall one was, so by last May, we started working with a booking agent
Oh, cool.
out of South Charleston. And he has definitely added a whole nother like level of like professionalism. So like us, before like we were kind of just like, all right, let's tour. And after we put out Citrona, our plan was just like, let's keep playing live shows, because that's where we get most of our like following, like that's where we get like our fans. So we try to tour as much as possible. But once we did that enough, and once we showed that we did have a small following, Caleb reached out to us, and he's been able to get us like a lot more legit venues, some bigger shows. So he's been a huge help, which is really nice.
Yeah, not DIY anymore.
Yeah, no, not anymore.
Well, tell me about Something You Needed. That's the newest EP. It came out this year, right?
Yeah, that we started working on that like last summer. We went on this writing trip up to Robbinsville, North Carolina. So it was like this, and we rented out this cabin up in the mountains, like pretty secluded, far away from society, and we kind of just locked ourselves in and tried to create, something extremely, or not to say extremely, but something different. We wanted to mature our sound. We wanted to, really dig into what we could create as a whole, as a band. And we came up with some ideas and got some like demos and stuff like that. And after we wrote a few of the songs there, we took like our ideas down to St. Petersburg in Florida, where one of our really good friends has this kind of like home studio. And he's the one that did Eleanor and Darling for us. So we really liked his like, and when we're there creating, like I don't know what the environment when we're there is, just like this amazing creative space. And we come up with some of our best ideas, like at least like from stuff. So we took kind of these raw ideas, took them down there to him, and for the whole fall, and then some of the spring, just polished out Something You Needed as far as the recording. Yeah. Recordings go. Yeah.
Were you able to do anything like touring or, playing wise between now and that time that it came out? Like, I know it got locked down pretty quickly there.
Yeah, we had a couple shows, and then we had to go home. But those are all like our tour that we had set up is getting rescheduled.
Were you guys on the road? You were on the road when the quarantine started?
We were in Texas, San Antonio, Texas.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
and we were like, just turn around. Like, what? Like, what? Did you get a? I'm sorry, Adrian.
22-hour car ride back.
22 hours.
22 hours. Yeah, I mean, like it's technically like a 15-hour drive, but like stopping
and make sure everyone's awake and everything.
Yeah, like switching drivers. It was probably the most depressing drive. ever,
Oh
never,
God.
ever. Just like we're in San Antonio, and every band, all these bands are just bam, canceling, and
we need to do this. Like we have to.
Like we were like, oh my God, like this is like this, this can't happen. Like we can't go, like we can't do anymore. Like
Yeah.
it was depressing. It was so sad.
Well, so what made you get like you were just seeing like other bands canceling tours and stuff? So you're like, we should probably head back now, or did the next like when you're in San Antonio, was the next venue calling you like, hey, you're canceled?
No, and that's we were surprised that the venues that we were going to go to afterwards like hadn't canceled yet, but we were just like, I think we decided the night before San Antonio, we're like, this one is going to be our last show because we can't cancel like the day before or whatever, and we just knew it was like the right thing to do. And we didn't want to put ourselves or like our like people that came with the shows or anything in danger or feel like they have to like crowd around each other. We were like, I don't know, we just felt responsible for that. So we're like, gotta bite the bullet and drive home. But it was the right thing. It was the right decision.
Yeah. I mean, then they ended up, locking down Florida like just a week after. So if we hadn't come home, we would have been stuck in like California or something like that, and that would have been horrible. So,
that's where I'm at. Hey.
No, well, I mean, maybe come crash with you next time.
Yeah. But, was your tour coming through California?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna hit a piece. It was gonna be our first time.
Were you playing San Diego?
Yeah.
Oh, where at? If you don't mind me asking.
Soda Bar.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn. Well,
we were excited.
We'll be there when this thing gets rescheduled. That's a great place.
Oh yeah. Cool. Yeah, it's cool.
So have you got like right now, what are you guys doing? Like, do you have plans to do, or have you been doing any of the live stream events? Like, are you writing? Like, what's going on right now while you guys are all kind of stuck inside?
Around like a week or like a couple of days after we got home from San Antonio, we did this live stream on Instagram. We like set up, like we practice in my garage. And so we put up our little banner behind us and we like kind of treated it as a real show. And like, it was really cool, like that we did that. And then later on, let's see. Oh, like last week, Dillon and Tristan did a little acoustic session of our EP Citrona for its second birthday. And
I saw something on your Instagram about that. You played the whole record?
Yeah, they played it all the way through, and then they played Eleanor.
We finished with Eleanor by special request from one of our good friends. But keep going.
Yeah, all the money we put at like our Venmo and our PayPal, and we took all the donations from that to go to the Barnabas Center in Fernandina, which like gives back to the people that are in need in our community, especially during this time and everything. Like, yeah, they help with everything. So we ended up raising like $600.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. How is that going live, Dillon? Have you ever done that before?
Not like that. No. It's always nice because like Madeline will be behind the camera, so like me and Tristan like don't really see we didn't see any of the comments or anything like that. Like, and so we're just like, let's play this, jam. It's definitely weird because like after you finish this song,
there's no clapping.
There's nothing, and you're just like. And you just like hit like one more chord, and you're like, okay, that's a song, yeah. Actually, well, when we were doing the session, we played the little like live session outside of Madeline's house, like in her backyard, and there's like a fence next to the sidewalk. People walking by and stopped like to listen, and like after we finished one of the songs, like all out of nowhere, we hear like clapping from like to the
like
left
from behind the fence.
Yeah, and it was so unexpected, and we just like, oh my god, like, oh, thank you, thank you, like, but yeah, it's interesting, but
we were like, is that Flipturn or whatever? And we were like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's us.
Cool.
Yeah.
And like they had a little baby out there and everything, and like it was just really cool. They like kept their respectful distance, like they weren't peering over the fence or anything, but
they were clapping. Yeah, it was funny.
Cool.
I did have an audience.
So, well, I mean, you guys just put that record out. It's unfortunate that you had to be, or that we're all stuck inside right now. So you guys, so next you're gonna just reschedule that tour and tour on that EP. What's next for you guys? Whenever
it's safe, yeah. Our Caleb, our booking agent, is constantly trying to put down holds, on venues and stuff like that. And if it looks like those are going to get canceled, we just move, try to get holds later on, just so that, we're trying to stay on top of everything so that, when the time comes, like we have, these holds locked in and we can just go play, obviously when it's safe. But yeah, that's pretty much the plan. Once everything opens back up, is go see everybody.
It's go time.
Yeah, go time.
Well, hopefully it'll be sooner than later. I mean, we're like 2 months now of sitting inside.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Are you guys doing anything to pass the time?
We've been working on some new demos.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we like just kind of like really low key, like more low key than we normally kind of write, because our writing process is like we'll just write in my garage, like jam out and stuff, but we've been kind of like taking little ideas that we've had, so we're kind of doing it a little bit differently with the couple that we're working on.
Yeah, it's harder to get together now, so like whenever we do get together, it's mostly just small little ideas that we can build off of, like in like a computer.
Yeah. Do you have to like email them back like ideas back and forth to each other? Is that kind of what you're doing?
We got like a little Google Drive going, and if somebody has an idea, they'll record it, drop it in the Google Drive, so that everybody can, listen to it and, maybe come up with something on their own off of it, so that when we do come together, like, we have an idea of actually what's going on.
Sure.
Because sometimes like the hardest part about writing sometimes is that original idea sometimes gets, over time, whether you intend for it to or not to, like it changes sometimes, the feel, it's all about keeping that original feel. So anything we can try and, record right there and then, and share with everybody so that feel stays the same, constantly.
I like that. Yeah, that's awesome. I've never heard of a band using the Google Drive to do that. That's really because then everybody can access it. That's great. Well, thank you guys so much for chatting with me. I appreciate it a lot. I have a question for each of you individually. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Okay.
Who wants? Go for it, Mad. You're on the big screen.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's see, advice. I would say definitely just keep going. It can be really hard sometimes, like especially with having to balance like everything in like your life. But just keep going, keep writing, just like, and make sure the music that you're making, like whether it's like with like by yourself or with a group of friends or whatever, it's music that you enjoy playing and that it makes you happy, because you'll probably end up playing these songs for a while. The same song.
I like that.
Yeah, like make sure it's something that that you like, and just keep going.
I like that.
I would say just practice. Like, I mean, obviously, like if you like what you're doing, but just practice. Like when we were in marching band, we practiced 8 hours a day, 4 days a week for like the whole summer.
Wow.
And it was terrible. But because of that, like I can do what I do now. And so, yeah, pretty much just practice. Like even if for drummers, like even if you just have drumsticks and a pillow, just like put in earbuds with the metronome, play along to that for like 20 minutes, and it just helps.
Yeah, the drummers from Drumline and stuff, at least in my high school, were always light years better than the kids that were in bands. Like, you see this terrible punk band, and then the kid that's in marching band is like, insane. What about you, Dylan?
I'd say first off, try to find your own sound. Don't try to sound like anybody else, because the music industry doesn't want any copycats. And that's how you make that's how I think you could stand out, is by trying to be as original as you possibly can. And also just, write through all the bad shit and the good shit. Like if you write something like it's not like so great, like don't let that deter you from continuing your process, because like not every song you write is going to be a hit song, or the best. So just try to if you're writing something, try to finish that song no matter what, because there's so many unfinished, unwritten ideas, but I think that's how you come up, that's how you polish through everything. Just keep writing, it's like keep practicing. Like writing is, practice your writing too. So.